Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back to talk basketball. Man, this is a special episode. I am hyped, more than normal. We got a special guest. The great John Salley is joining us. Dr. Dan Ratner is here as my co-host. I'm Salley McCullough. Let's do this. It's time to run it back, y'all.
This is very exciting. John, it's great to have you on the show. And listen, the way we start this is we usually go to Salley's jersey. And He's got a special jersey on. I'm sure it relates to you. You can see it's a Pistons jersey already. So tell us the story.
It's all incorporated. I am going with, as you can see, number 11, the point guard. As a 5'8" point guard myself, shoot first point guard. I love the little men, and Isaiah is one of the greatest of all time. So I'm going with an Isaiah Thomas Pistons bad boy jersey, sand knit, size 40, for none other than our special guest this week, the great John Salley.
And this is awesome. But John, I often wear a shirt that I choose, and it often relates. Mine is
Mark Price.
That's an old Mark Price. There you go. So we both have some point guards.
Yes, we're both little point guards that make it happen.
You both have guards that don't like passing the ball. That's amazing.
It says a lot about both of us, actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's one microphone. Oh, there are two microphones between the two. I was wondering. Let me see my shirt.
Yes. Nice.
Cannabis, LA.
Yes. That's nice. That's a good one. You're setting the tone, John. You're setting the tone.
I'm a true NBA player. Cannabis first.
Nice. Well, listen, when we first started doing this show, you, I think, are like the ideal guest for us because, first of all, you're a 4-time NBA champion, so you've got pedigree, and you've had a phenomenally successful life after basketball, which a lot of NBA players can't make that claim. So, and you know the game. Like, you come from an era that is probably the greatest era of basketball. So
I agree.
We wanted to jump it off with just I got a ton of questions for you, John. I'm your friend. I know you, but I want to talk hoops. That's what Run It Back is all about.
Okay, good. Let's run it back. I think my memory is great. I know last year, Salley, I posted a picture of Isaiah, all his stats for the first 5 years.
Yeah.
And Steph Curry, all his stats for the first 5 years. And they were way lower than Isaiah's. So, and you said one of the greatest players of all time. I get in trouble for saying it. I get in trouble. I played with Michael, Kobe, Shaq, but he's 6 foot.
Yes.
One.
Yes.
And can do things that everybody else can do at 19 and 20.
Yes.
When guys back in the NBA, when you had to be 30 to get in.
Yeah.
He was an unbelievable player.
I mean, that's the first question I think we have to go to. Why doesn't Zeke get his props? Like, there are some players that, people fall in love with them as time goes on. I think Zeke doesn't get his props for what he accomplished.
I think a lot of it had to do with wording. I think what really got in the way is when Isaiah, and Larry Bird got into it in 1997 when Isaiah agreed with Dennis Rodman, and the reporters were like, "Hey, do you know what you just said? But we just lost in Game 7.
Yes,
it's kind of hard to say anything."
Yeah.
I also think that we got in the way of the fairy tale. Remember, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson come out of college in 1980, I think it was.
Yes.
79, whatever it was, to save the NBA. And then Isaiah comes out the year after. And instead of it being Boston, Detroit, Los Angeles, they had other plans in 1984. I think 82 Isaiah came in. I'm not sure. I can't remember. In 84, when Michael comes in, that was the trifecta. And this team called the Detroit Pistons, with a slew of characters, interrupted the ball.
Right.
And and their prince kept, driving home in Ferraris.
Yes. Yes.
So it became a tough thing for them to deal with. So us being interrupters kind of messed up the propaganda that was being set up. I'm in business with Isaiah now. I'm an advisor on One World Farmer. We're the largest hemp and cannabis growers in the world.
Yeah.
In Colombia, we have 1.9 million hectares of hemp and cannabis. So I'm still following behind the point guard.
Yeah.
Alley-ooping and picking up scraps.
Yeah. I remember the first time that we met, John, you said something to me that stuck with me to this day. You said,
"Give me back my wallet."
No, well, that was one thing. I was like, oh, that dude's got a championship. I know he got money. But you said Isaiah is such a strong-willed person that if he was locked up in prison, he would run a prison. And I never forgot that.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is definitely, I've said it before. I think he is, when you get there, he didn't have to say, I'm the man on this team.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do that anywhere he goes. When he walks in, believe it or not, at 6'1", you notice something different about that guy.
Yeah.
I went to a party one time on Tavern on the Green in New York. It's before September 11th.
Yeah.
And I was with Boris Kodjoe, and we walked in, and they were like, man, all these people, all these celebrities are there. And I said, I just feel funny. Something's different inside here. And he goes, well, you got to leave? I go, no, something's different. Michael Jackson was inside. He definitely changed the molecules of the room. I'm not joking.
Sure.
And I didn't smoke weed then, so I know it was something. And then I heard another actress talk about the time she was at a party and Michael Jackson walked in. The same exact molecule change happens when Isaiah goes somewhere. I remember when Prince wanted to meet Isaiah. Yeah. And Isaiah didn't even want to play the game. He was like, does this guy know how big a Prince fan I am? And he was sitting there, he said, Sal, Prince is sitting at courtside. How am I going to play? You would never know he would say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he was such a strong person that you didn't have to ask who was in charge here. Somebody would walk up to him and smack him. Like, he's the guy. You know he's the guy.
Right. I love also, he's got that silky smooth voice, and you don't see it coming with Isaiah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. There it is. There it is. Wait, hey, John, where does the name Zeke come from? I never.
I think it was supposed to be Zeke is for Ezekiel, but Isaiah. Black people get things wrong. But for Isaiah, right?
I just had the wrong name.
When I was little, I said, "Why do they call you Zeke? Your name is Isaiah."
Yeah.
And he looked at me like, I said, "Zeke is for Ezekiel."
Yeah.
And he just blinked and looked at me.
And said, I'm not passing you the ball.
Yeah, I said, rookie mistake. Say nothing to the vet. I call his nickname is Junior. His mother called him Junior, so we call him Junior on the squad. Just like we don't call Dennis the Worm, we call him Big Man. It's just we had so many different. I tell you, I was on a team of characters.
Yes.
But this is funny. I got to skip because you're wearing Mark Price's number, and Mark Price is. I went to Georgia Tech first. Coach Crimson said to me, "If you come to Georgia Tech, others will follow." And I need this point guard named Mark Price out of Oklahoma. Now I had just played against in the summertime before we even got to that point. I played against these guys in Oklahoma, and I'm thinking, "Oh, this is the kid he's talking about." Right. No, and then Mark Price comes in, does not talk. Walks on the court. I mean, he is definitely silent. I think I was one of the first 3 black guys he met in his entire life.
Right.
Then he goes to Georgia Tech, where black people originate from, Atlanta, and he's just quiet. And he gets on court, and everybody realizes, oh, he's the man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's the same exact thing. As you got to have that. Steph Curry has it.
Yes.
You go and you see him. You go, what's this little kid doing here?
Yes.
And you go, to bust my ass.
Oh, okay, he's incredible.
So both those point guards were great in my life, and I was lucky to have them. Definitely lucky in order for my career to go. But I just think I had to say that because you're wearing that Cavs shirt. I almost wasn't Cleveland Cavalier, believe it, man.
Really?
I used to get threatened to be traded there, and so I played better not to.
That's what they would say to you? That's funny.
Hey, John, making it in the NBA is more than about just having talent on the court.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about like the business of basketball and how you have to understand that?
Yeah. So in football, I forgot to Doc. You got to give me the name of the test that they give football players.
Oh, the Wonderlic.
Yeah. And I always wondered that, like, why do you need to take a test to play football? It's a savage game.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the Wonderlic. Everybody wonders why you're giving it.
Yeah. And then I went into a football locker room.
Yeah.
This is the truth. Not until 2000 and something, I go to a college football game. It was Ohio State versus Florida.
Yeah.
And Ohio State got destroyed because they were playing against, I don't know. Some of the guys was from, Country Day Correctional Facility.
Sure.
Sure. Dressed as college students.
Sure.
With backpacks. When they went to the locker room. The wide receivers went this way, the quarterbacks went this way, the running backs went this way, and I saw them break up. And no matter how tired they were, I saw them going over the mental part of what they needed to do because everybody had to focus on it. When you get into the NBA, the difference when you see a guy in college, you say, man, he's going to be great in the pros.
Yes.
And then he gets in the pros, and not that he gets traded a lot. That happens when you're valuable, is when you can't move to the next level.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I go pro 1986 in June. I leave and go to Detroit in September. We're in training camp. By February, when the All-Star game was coming and I was so ready to get out of Detroit, away from these guys, and back down to Atlanta, Georgia, I have my practice sheet. Mm-hmm. And so I give it to Coach Crimmins, and he's looking at it. He goes, "This is all you guys do?" I go, "Let me run practice." He goes, "What?" I said, "Let me run practice. We're going to set it up." He goes, "I don't do it that way." I said, "Let me show you something, Coach." Practice was 55 minutes.
Yeah.
When we finished, I was the only one standing.
Whoa.
These guys could not believe what we were putting ourselves through in practice every minute. Because in Detroit, in the NBA, the game is seconds.
Yes.
So you got 24 seconds, right? You really only have 18 seconds.
Yes.
Because when he gets the ball, he's pissed off. The big man is coming down court. All of a sudden you get up court and you look, and it's taking him 9 seconds or 8 seconds to get the ball across the court. You got 16 seconds to run a complete play where 3 people got to touch the ball.
Yes.
Now, if you don't know how to move your mind at this level, you can't play in the NBA. Your mind goes into hyper speed. Wow. And the hyper speed is you have to make decisions before it even gets to that point. I had to be 3 steps ahead. So give you an example. All of a sudden, you see a guy, you set a pick, a guy comes off your pick, you turn and you post in college, not in the pros. In the pros, you run down, your pick is push him with your arm, see him out this eye right here.
Yes.
Especially Isaiah, because if you don't, that's where you're going to get hit.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was hyper, and then massive, strong people. So your mind changes. So when I ran practice, we would run something. It was never slow down, get some water. All of that is a process of how the game is going. Yes. You grab the water, you drink it. And, when you're growing up, they go, water break. All right, guys, take a break. No. In the NBA, you better keep that locomotive going as fast as you can. And when you catch it and you're 4 feet or you're 6 feet away from the basket, 9 feet away from the basket, and your player is 2 feet away from you, that's a shot.
Yeah.
Now, when I said that, they were like, "What?" And you're like, "You want a better shot?" No, that's the only shot you're going to get because we're only taking 90 shots this game, and we got a guy that wants $90 million, so he wants all 90 shots. Joe Dumars said to me, I said, "Joe, man, you got to give me the rock." He said, "Sal, first Isaiah, then I got to look for myself.
Yeah.
Then I got to give it to Bill, And when Vinny comes in, we got to go to Vinny.
Yeah.
You got to go get yours off the rim.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, do you know who I think I am?
and like all the NBA players are. That's part of how you get there. You gotta think of yourself.
It is, but it is so fast.
Yes.
The best thing, Doc, you're gonna love this for is Chuck Daly used to say to me that I had the best mental health of any athlete he's ever met.
Really?
And I used to be like, thanks for saying I don't have a good jumper or something like that. And you, little boy, get the cold. No, so what I meant, what he meant by that is he could yell at me.
Yeah.
Something can go wrong. I'll clap it off. All right, next time. And he would hear me say that, next time. And guys who got caught up on one play, who sat around and argued with the ref, who doing all that, I always thought they were exerting way too much energy.
Yeah.
To yell at the referee on something that they know he can't go back and change.
Yeah.
I used to think was so irresponsible. And then I met Bill Laimbeer.
Right.
Bill Laimbeer would do it to change all the energy.
Yeah.
And let it come at him. And then he get the other team to go back and forth, and he talked to the other guys back and forth. And then Bill come to the bench and be sitting like this and be like, we in their head.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, what?
Yeah.
In their head. He want to fight me. He don't want to play. And Chuck Daly would say, where most people were going crazy, you're taking a nap. Where most people want to yell and scream, you're thinking about, oh, this guy is not where he mentally need to be. I remember we were picking at, give you an example, we picking at James Worthy.
Yeah.
And James Worthy was always a problem for me and the rest of the NBA.
Sure. And, that baseline spin. He would do that baseline spin and get to the bucket.
And then he would dunk on you and be a half court going this way. And then one day he just said to the ref, I've been putting up with this all day. Like he's been on me, do something. And Rick Mahorn said, got him.
Yeah.
And we won. We beat the Lakers. Just in him saying, if I get you not to think about where the rotations need to be, where the ball is, if I'm going to hit you. I remember Rick Mahorn did something that was so crazy, but it never left me. So now I got that I don't care mentality.
Yeah.
Kevin McHale comes back on limping a little bit. He's had an operation on his ankle. He's been out for like 3 weeks. And Rick goes back and goes, welcome back. So, oh, thanks, Ricky. He said, which ankle was it? And he points it like this, and Rick kicks him in his ankle.
Oh.
And then McHale's like, what is wrong with you? He said, I don't want you to play. He said, don't talk to me. And I said, oh, I have a bipolar teammate.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I found out I had about 4 bipolar teammates.
Yeah, right.
And I don't mean maybe. I mean clinical.
Yeah.
Well, and you must have played a key role because Chuck Daly had to corral them all together, but he clearly needed an ally, and he had you. He
loved that I did comedy. He thought I was crazy to make a joke. Like I would see something and figure out the funny in it.
Yes.
And I said, Richard Pryor would say, or people would say about Richard Pryor is he was really great at making jest of reality.
Sure. He would make a truthful observation.
Yeah.
And it was so undeniable with that dash of funny in it that it just, it elevated your consciousness.
Yeah. It definitely gets into a point where I would have to think, and I'll give you, Doc, one of the greatest things that happened. We're playing against the Boston Celtics, and this is my rookie year.
Yeah.
And in my rookie year, is it my rookie? Yeah, it's my rookie year. Isaiah throws the ball, takes the ball, Larry steals it, throws it to DJ. They lay the ball up. They beat us. We got this game won finally at the Boston Garden.
Yes.
And I'm on the bench. And Adrian Dantley turns around and grabs my chest because I'm looking over him. And he goes, what happened? And I said, Isaiah threw the ball away. He said, why did he take the ball out? Now, that was a mental lapse.
A mental lapse,
Guards don't take the ball out.
Sure, no.
Big men
Guards get the ball, so you foul them, they go
man.
to the line and close the game.
But it reversed. So Isaiah's just looking that we're finally going to beat the Celtics. He grabs the ball and goes to throws it to Bill Laimbeer. Well, Bill Laimbeer knows Larry Bird hates him.
Yes.
And Larry's going right at him. So Bill steps back and Larry steals the ball. Like a mental lapse between both players. One, don't take the ball out. Two, step to the ball.
Yes.
Two things they didn't do. So we're on the plane, and Jack McCluskey is the general manager. He's sitting there all pissed off, looking at the sheet on the plane. And we chartered a jet, but it was a regular jet. And Isaiah's sitting at the window looking out like this, middle of the plane, nobody near him. He almost, he had leprosy at that time. That's what it felt like. So I go and I sit next to him, and I have some peanuts, and I sit next to him, and there's a seat in between us. And he looks over at me, and he goes back, and I go, "Want some peanuts?" And he's like this, and I know he wants to punch something. I go, "What's wrong?" He goes, "Sal, I just threw the game away." And I go, "No, you just proved to us we can beat them in the Boston Garden. We had them beat.
Wow.
That's all we needed." And I go, "We're going to beat them at home. Then we're going to go back and beat them again because now we know we can beat them."
Yeah.
And Isaiah looks at me. He goes, "You're such a rookie." I go, "I'm right." I go, "I'm right, though. Want some peanuts?" And I think the reason Isaiah literally brings me into things now is because of that time on the plane.
Sure.
When I wasn't dwelling on what happened.
Yes, yeah.
I knew I could beat him. What I love about Predator,
this,
when he says it can bleed, it can die.
Yes. What I love about this conversation, John, is you're really highlighting the mental aspects of the game. And like the Pistons, what you guys did was legendary. Like you swept your way to the first championship, right?
Yeah.
Second championship, 5 games. The third time you're there, you get swept by the Bulls, right? What was that like mentally? What was the mental the mental juggling you had to do with that?
Okay.
I'm taking you back. I'm sorry.
No.
We're going there. This is a therapy session in a way.
It's good. Call my doctor.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'll be here the whole time, John.
Yo, man, we had, and imagine everybody looks at it because the audience wants what they want.
Yes.
So understand how mentally destroyed. Just to give you, I'm going to go faster. We lose in the Eastern Conference Championship. Adrian Dantley and Vinnie Johnson hit their heads.
Yes.
We go back. The next year, we beat the Celtics. They don't shake our hands.
Yes.
They walk off the court during a foul shot.
Yes.
So, but they the Celtics.
Sure.
We should have never done that.
Sure.
We get there and no one expects us to be in the West in the finals, and we take the Lakers to Game 7.
Yes.
We get cheated. Now imagine, back then, you couldn't just fly out. So we had to stay at a Marriott at the airport and hear the streets going crazy.
Oh.
And nobody wanted to be around anybody else.
Yeah.
And everybody was in their room listening to, go Lakers. We had to hear that.
Yeah.
The next day when we got on the plane, Isaiah goes, "I don't know about anybody else, but I'm taking 7 days off, and I'll see y'all in the gym." And I think every single person was in the gym in 7 days.
Yeah.
Waiting for the next year. Like when I tell you I had no time off.
Yeah.
There was no, like I was afraid to be seen in a party that it might get back to them.
Wow.
That I wasn't only thinking, but I was different. I know how to relax my brain. To going in to win the championship, and then somebody says to you, "Man, you guys were great. You gonna do it next year?" What?
We just did it.
Can I get this 15 minutes?
Can I get a ta-da?
Yeah, don't pat me on my back because I see you got a medal thing in your hand. Then when you win the championship, you're going crazy. Man, we got to go to a parade.
Yeah.
And they trade Rick Mahorn.
Yes.
In the expansion draft.
Yes.
The night of our parade. So I never got to celebrate it because just as it was happening, I got hit again in the head.
Yeah.
Now, them trading Rick Mahorn means what? I got the job. So I get back the next year and there's 5 guys for my job.
Wow.
So then we go and we win again, but this
Yeah.
time we beat Michael.
Yeah.
And we go out to Portland where we never won.
Yes.
And Portland's never won in the Palace, and they beat us in the Palace. And now it's 1-1, and we're going back to a place we never won. We win 3 straight in 3 straight games in Portland. I used to say, they call it Rip City. I said repeat in Portland. They hated me for that. And like, this is a true statement. I was working on my stand-up, and they invite the Portland Trailblazers and us to the Nike campus, and we got to go because it's political. I do 20 minutes of stand-up.
Really?
I sit up there. I talk about them. I'm talking about.
And was it more roast, or like, were you doing like bits or what?
I was doing so Salley, as I'm sitting around trying to learn comedy, I'm learning peaks and valleys. How you get somebody up, drop them into the punchline.
Sure.
Pick
you always build them up. And then you punch him.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I got this down. And they were like, man, you really good at this, man. Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this. The next time I did the same act, I heard crickets.
Yeah.
And the next day I was working on my left-hand hook shot again. No more punchline. But it's the mental part of how you build. Like, everyone is going back and forth about LeBron and Michael.
Yes.
LeBron will never be better than Michael because LeBron would not exist without Michael.
That's very true.
It's like going back in time. If you had a time machine and killing, I always think about this. If I had a time machine, would I go back and stop slavery? Right? Would I go back, and where would I go back? To Cape Verde Islands, to when they started taking us from Africa, or to South Carolina in Charleston? I always, This is what happened when you smoke Deuces 22.
Right. which is your own brand of weed.
My daughter's brand.
Yes.
Don't smoke the fire. If you do.
And is that just for those of us that may or may not know weed? Is that a sativa? Is that a hybrid? Or is that a championship
something? Well, I got
something?
a sativa, a hybrid, and an indica. The indica is in the couch. The hybrid is, hi, I don't know why I'm doing this. Sativa is like, yeah. My body is high, but my brain is going.
That's the Isaiah laugh. It's the yeah.
Yeah, that's it. What happened is, if you go back and you kill anybody that started slavery or in slavery, say you stopped it, then the person doing the killing from the time would not exist. Right? I know it's a crazy thing that, damn, you can't stop it. I love the Minority Report when they go back and they stop you from committing a crime, but then that person wouldn't exist in the future.
Right.
I know, Doctor, I'm blowing your mind, but
you're speaking my language, man. This is what I do.
So everything has to be for things to be. So, or had to have been for things to be. Yeah. So LeBron is my height. He's 6'10", 6'11", but he's 265 pounds. He's 20 pounds, 23 pounds heavier than me. I'm bragging. Yes. But he has, 17% less body fat.
And he moves like a guard.
Designed to play this game. I know everybody saw the movie with the Jurassic Park.
Sure.
Oh.
When they made that at the last one, it got really crazy. They took the DNA of this and they put it with this and they did it with this.
Yes.
That is LeBron. LeBron is made to play basketball. He may want to do other things. He may feel other things, but this kid is a cyborg.
John, let me tell you something. I wrote for LeBron when he hosted the ESPY Awards, right? I wrote for Jamie Foxx 2 years, and because I'm a sports fan, I was like, oh, I'm going to do this job until they ask me not to do it. I wrote on the ESPYs for 6 years. The year LeBron hosted, they flew me out to his camp in Akron, Ohio. So I spent 4 days in Akron at LeBron's camp. And I thought, I have a rent-a-car. I'm going to meet up with him and his boys. I'll have 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there just to pitch jokes. This dude came to the hotel to pick me up. We drove around Akron. We got a burger and a shake. We sped past a cop, and the cop was like, hey, LeBron, right? And I was like, oh, this dude is the man, right? Yeah. But watching him in that camp, he was a gym rat. This was before the MVPs, before the championships. This is when they were questioning how good this guy was going to be. after those 4 days, I was like, oh, this dude's unbelievable. I felt like it was like watching Jordan right after he had that injury and came back and destroyed everybody. I was like, I'm watching something that is a once in a generational player.
See, but this is what I love about the NBA. To me, the mental toughness is what determines what happens. You know, I watched, and I do think it was the best era of basketball, and I was a Cavs fan. So I watched the Cavs, you know, just not quite get there against the Pistons, then against the Bulls. But it was always about who could be the mentally toughest. And I think, and this goes along with what you said, you didn't blow my mind. It's right in my wheelhouse. I think that the people who have been through trauma and the cultures who have been through trauma, they bring a wisdom and a mental toughness. And like LeBron doesn't exist without his trauma.
No,
and Jordan doesn't exist without his trauma.
And a lot, and this is the craziest thing is, I hate. I don't use the word hate. I totally dislike when I want something. And when I want it, I know how hard it's going to be for me to get it. I've never been handed anything.
Sure.
And I've always been in places that has been very hard to get to. I came to television and movies at 7 foot.
Yes.
Not understanding until Spike Lee said to me, I said, how are you going to do a basketball movie and not have your basketball friend in the movie? And he goes, Michael Jordan wasn't available. No, I go.
Do you know? Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know?
He goes, you think you're my friend? No. And he said, Sal, I'm sorry, I don't really want to, direct my friends. And it's okay, maybe you don't think I'm a good actor or whatever it may be. But I sat there and I go, man, this is going to be hard. And since then, I've been in 14 movies. But since he told me no, I couldn't stop. I realized that's not a no, that's a yes. I just have to go behind it.
Yes.
And when you say that, Chris Rock said, remember one of his early jokes was, as good as a black fighter can be, there's some Filipino guy out there who is growing up in sewage that is ready to kill a Native American that is ready to kill whomever.
Yes.
That is definitely the deal. When I would see people and I'm a walking psychiatrist on my squad because you got to stop guys from, doing things that are detrimental that they don't know.
Right.
When they get so angry, Rasheed Wallace, he would get so to a point. And I knew from watching him that when I was a Laker, we were going to beat them.
Right.
And the guys are like, how do you, I said, we just got to work on Rasheed.
Right.
And I remember, Phil
and
Rashid
was gifted. Like his footwork was like Tim Duncan-esque. Like he was gifted.
Would talk.
Yes.
Remember, he would talk to you. This is a really smart guy. But when he took the energy, and guys don't understand energy, when he took the energy and anger, it took all the energy from his teammates.
Right.
It just because he was such a leader that when the leader was mad and was doing and pointing at this guy, get your stuff, that it became turmoil on the squad. Yeah. One of the things I've always talked about, or we did when Phil Jackson would bring in the coach for mindfulness, and we would do a thing called One Breath. And on the Lakers and whatnot, when I was on Chicago, I'm just going to tell you the Chicago story because it's crazy.
Please.
Okay. So we lose to the Toronto Raptors. Not my fault, but guys were out that night. But we lose, and they got the worst record. But we lose in the year we got 72
and 10 season, yeah.
We supposed to have 73, but we lost that game to the Raptors.
Oh no! Oh no!
I know, and I knew where all the parties were the night before. But listen, that has nothing to do with me. But we lose. Phil Jackson calls in our guy for mindfulness, and then he does the "I'm going to act angry" thing. Hey, everybody, tape up. Get your ankles taped. Get everything going. MJ, Scotty, let's go. We're playing for minutes today because I obviously need to change the minutes on some of these guys.
Wow.
So guys go in and get taped. They get their war paint. They're all ready because guys are playing for minutes. He goes, all right, everybody, we're on the court. We got to be in a circle. feet on the line, almost so military. He said, first I want to go over this film. We'll go to the film room first. Now we're all taped, extra stretched.
Yes.
I got a knife in my jock, ready to stab somebody for some minutes.
Right.
We get up there and he's sitting there, and the guy's like, and I don't know what the is. Hey, what's up, George? What's up, George? He's sitting there, and he starts talking. And then he tells everybody to hold hands. And I'm like, Dennis has on turquoise nail polish. I don't like the turquoise. Fuchsia this month, fuchsia. So we're holding hands and we're breathing, and he's trying to calculate. So, okay, in, out. And these guys are sitting there, and we're in a seance, I think. And I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and I was like, my mother told me about you, demon eyes. So we're taking deep breaths. We're in this one breath, and he's saying one breath, one beat, one thought. And an hour goes by.
Yeah.
Then he brings us back in, and he goes, all right, good practice, fellas. And I'm looking around like, practice? We're not. He said, no, that was practice.
Wow.
Go take the tape off. He mentally got us. We won 19 games. Or we won something like, I think it was 9.
And you came in that 72-10 season late in the season, right?
Right. I came in because they needed me to win. But they needed a body to put in front of Alonzo is what I found out. But,
who Alonzo, by the way, Alonzo Mourning, right?
Alonzo Mourning, was at Miami.
Yes, and he was a monster too. He's another one that doesn't get the respect that he deserves.
Yeah, he doesn't. And this is Doc Salley. Let me just tell you how crazy Phil Jackson is. During the playoffs, you watch film, and you watch a movie. You watch film. You only watch 15 minutes of a movie, 15 minutes of film, 15 minutes of movie, 15 minutes of film.
Wow.
So we're watching Friday. None of the white guys on the squad had ever seen it.
Sure.
We're all happy. All the black guys are celebrating. We're watching Friday. And then Debo comes on, and he goes, what's up, Craig? Flash. Alonzo Mourning looking over his shoulder. We now are watching plays just with Alonzo.
Wow.
So he literally put us in the mind that Alonzo is Debo.
Yeah.
And he's messing up our Friday.
Yeah.
That's the
mental game he's playing. Like what you're spelling out right now is basketball is athletic chess. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Like, that's why it's such a great game to me. I have to ask this question, John. When you joined the Bulls, coming from the Bad Boys, did Mike ever try and test you?
Yes. Michael Jordan and I have been friends since 1982 when he was on his second year of college.
Yes.
And
you're 2 hours away. Georgia
2 hours
Tech,
away. This is my guy.
UNC.
We both played Omega. I'm still the guy who finds all the girls to this day.
To this day.
Well, what I mean is I'm not afraid to talk to women. And a lot of guys were introverts.
Yes.
That was another thing. So many introverts in the NBA, the only time they shine, like Dennis Rodman, will only talk when the game starts. Joe Dumars still does not talk.
Wow.
I think when they said, Joe, do you take your wife to be your lawfully wedded wife? He goes, he whispers. Because he would just whisper to Isaiah, and Isaiah would go like, I said, what did he say? Did he say anything?
Yeah.
It is so a thing that you have to, like I said, you have to be sharp each second.
Yes.
And remember, it's every single second. So Michael would say to me, I got you on this squad. He goes, now you're going to be a Bull. Do some of that stuff you do when you was a Laker. I mean, when you were a Piston.
When you're a Piston,
When you're a Piston. So we have Phil tells Michael and Scotty to go. They're in the locker room. They don't need to practice today. They've been up since 7:00 lifting weights. They get there early. Who do they think they are? Top 50 players? Assholes.
Right.
Anyway, Michael knows something's up.
Yes.
So Michael acts like he's leaving, doubles back, has on his tennis sneakers, like literal tennis sneakers. They're Nikes. They're Vans with a Nike swoosh on them. That's it.
Yes.
He ties those up. He said, no, Phil, I'm in this scrimmage. Put the Pistons and then this is when Ron Harper was so mad. Put Ron Harper over there because you was a Cav, and it's the Bulls against the Pistons and the Cavs, and we have Randy Brown.
Wow.
So all of a sudden he's playing. Michael gets a steal. I'm running back. I turn back, and I'm going to block the shot. Yeah. And I turn back. Can I swear on here?
You can do whatever you want, John.
Yeah.
So I turn back, and I'm about to jump, and all of a sudden I mistime it. When I look up, Michael's midsection is going by my head, and he's like, "Block this, bitch!" Yeah, that bad boy shit. And I'm running like this. After practice, I go home and I call my mom and I say, "I just saw the greatest basketball player of all time." He goes, "Johnny, it took you this long. It took you this long to be honest." I said, "Ma, he did it in sneakers." I said, not
Air Jordans.
He did it in
not Air
shoes,
Jordans.
not sneakers.
Yeah, not in these. Not in these.
No,
not in these. Not with the 45 or not in the Space Jams. He did it in regular sneakers
with sweats on. Everybody's wearing shorts. I'm telling you, this dude was so different. And Michael's so loved. Like, he's so loved to have those conversations about what we were having, conversations about while we were playing them.
Yes.
And I said, Michael, it's easy. Push you left. And as soon as you put your right hand on it, step on your right side. Yeah. And he was like, what? That's what y'all think? I go, yeah. He goes, I had 62 that game. I go, we were wrong. But we were wrong a lot. But
now let me ask you this though, because we're in this space right now. Jordan's the greatest.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant. You gotta give me some insight. You gotta give me a John Salley Kobe Bryant story. Kobe Bryant's going into the Hall of Fame. Jordan is speaking on his behalf. The ball is in your court.
Chris Tucker, Dave Chappelle, me, Michael Jordan, Dr. J, Charles Oakley, all at the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
All of a sudden, Chris Tucker, Dave Chappelle, we needed a camera. He goes, right here. This is your man. MJ's right here. He goes, oh, Sal. He said, who is better right now? Kobe or Mike? Come on, man, give it out. You boys right here. And I put my hand on Michael's shoulder and I go, at 27? I said, Michael, at 27, this boy would give you the business. And Charles Oakley comes from the right and punches me in the stomach, knocks all the air out of me.
Wow.
That's how crazy I was. That's how crazy Charles was. Charles been wanting to hit me since 1990. I don't know. This guy wanted to kill me the whole time. But at 27, I thought Michael, just to be messing with Michael.
Yes.
But I literally said to Kobe, I would go play against Kobe. Kobe had VHS tapes, putting it in. He would carry the machine and watch everybody, but he watched Michael every single day.
Yes.
Like, you know how we get up and we turn the news on?
Yes.
He turned on another Michael video.
Yes.
To the point where he transformed into Michael, but he was Kobe. And
Jamie Foxx has a great joke. He said, Kobe Bryant at one point used to blink like Michael Jordan.
Well, he got all the look. The funny thing, to look back, the faces he make, all that is Michael. Yeah. And this was funny. I played against Kobe, and I was with Kobe, and I said, "Why'd you come out?" And I told the story. I said, "Why'd you come out?" He said, "I heard MJ was retiring, and I had to play against him. There was no way I was not going to play against him."
Wow! Look at that. That dude. That's unreal. That's unreal.
It is.
Can we talk about your vegan restaurant for a minute? And can we talk about that? Like, school us on why vegan is the way.
Okay, so if you eat dead things, you don't get energy from it. You're an electric body, and your body right now is firing at all different things. It's paying attention to every single thing going on. Yes. Your mind is sitting around all kind of synapses of Bachman. If you put dead batteries in a boom box, it's not going to boom. So you have to put electric foods that are not dead, foods that have nutrients and vitamins in order for you to sustain this avatar.
Yes.
Plant Organics, johnsalley.com.
Wow. Listen, John, we had like a whole show planned with other things. We were going to discuss other things with you, but you bring so much to the table that I think we just need to bring you back. We need to run it back.
Yes.
John
Can you please come back on this show?
Can we
do it? Please come back on this show?
Yeah, and my phone will be working. See, the funniest thing is my daughter said, well, let's put it on the computer. I go, everything is on the phone. Yeah. And I knew when your producer said, I said, maybe I should tell him to email me.
Yeah.
And then I look back in and I go, we got to wait for the phone. Yeah. So I apologize for that. But yeah, I can be back on next weekend.
Dude, we'd love to have you back on. You're incredible.
Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you already know this. You got a book in you because your life path is, I mean, it's remarkable, dude. Like when we first met, like I met you as you were stepping into the entertainment field, and I was like, yo, this dude is really sharp. He's funny. He's got just enough athlete cockiness where I was a fan. I was instantly won over. So the fact that we've spent this time to talk basketball, life, and everything, can't wait to have you back. Best to the fam. John Salley, you're A1. You're A1.
I love you, Suli. I love you, man. Doc, and I like you, man. I like you.
Dan Ratner's good.
Suli, though, but I like
hey,
you.
If you said you loved me already, that would be weird. So the fact that you like me, I'll take it.
I know. It'd be like some Joe Biden thing. Just lying for no reason.
Exactly. Here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. Hey, guys, this has been a fantastic edition of Run It Back. Special thanks to my man, John Salley, A1 Day One. We will be back with more Run It Back. We're actually going to go down for a couple weeks because I'm going to Atlanta to watch my daughter graduate college. Dr. Dan Ratner and I may do a little something to keep you entertained and whatever. But this has been a fantastic episode of Run It Back.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks for coming, John.
All right. Thanks.